We begin with two breaking news alerts this morning. The first involves that missing 2-year-old boy who police say was inside a car when it was stolen. JSO first alerted us about 30 minutes ago. This happened off South Old Kings Road, not far from Wolfson High School. Channel 4's Elizabeth Campbell just arrived at the scene.
We got an alert within the past 45 minutes that there was a possible abduction, missing child, and police are searching for this child. Now, what we are told is that they were working an auto theft at the area of 8075 Old Kings Road. This is where we are being held right now, and they say that the child was in the car at the time, and they located the car but have not been able to locate that child. I want to take you now to a live picture. This will show you the car that he was originally in, where his mother's boyfriend left him in this car. It was found not even a mile away from the apartment complex. It is a 1995 orange Honda Civic. Now, JSO found that car here off of Cespedes Avenue not long after the original call came in, but the boy was not inside the car when they found it. So now they are trying to figure out who stole the car and where this child is.
This car belongs to the boyfriend of this child's mother. The baby was inside the child. The boyfriend says he went inside, left the child inside this car, and the car was stolen, found about a mile away. Again, this happened on the south side, but the child was missing, and that's why there is an all-out search right now. And as you can see, investigators combing that car, looking for any information that could lead them to the person who may have taken this child. We will have a live report coming up in just a matter of minutes. New information right now. An Amber Alert has just been issued for this little boy. He's 22-month-old Lonzie Barton, last seen at around 2 o'clock this morning on the south side, inside a car that was stolen. That car found a mile away, and this little boy was not inside. Now an Amber Alert has been issued for him. Last seen in a diaper. You can see him there. He only weighs about 20 pounds. Police now combing the car. That car, as I mentioned, has been found. We are expecting another briefing from police coming up in about 20 minutes. We will bring that to you live.
At this point in time now, we have issued an Amber Alert for the child. The child is 1.5 years old. He turns 2 in October. His name is Lonzie Barton. The media has been provided with a copy of him with this picture. He is blonde-haired, blue-eyed, about 20 pounds, able to walk, able to talk. There's no health issues with this child.
Two crime scenes on the south side where police are trying to find this 20-month-old child. On the right is the car being towed. That was the car that little boy was last seen in an apartment complex on Old Kings Road. It was stolen about 4 blocks away, and when they found that vehicle, that little boy was not inside.
Let's bring in now our News for Jax crime and safety analyst, Gil Smith, who's just arrived on the scene. Gil, what do you make of all this?
Yeah, it's a very frightening situation. And like you said, there's so many different areas that it could go in. Did the child get out? Did the person take the child with them? Is the child in one of the residents here on the scene? That's the main thing they're going to be looking at here. I'm sure they have already, is to check all the houses here in the area.
We actually just moved a little bit closer to give you a better view of the apartment complex on the south side where this all began this morning. This is the Ravenwood apartment complex behind me. And if you take a look straight behind me, we've got a JSO officer there. Actually, he's pulling out right now, but they have been blocking that driveway throughout the morning.
Kind of set the scene for us, if you will, in terms of what's going on there with investigators.
Right, the car was left here just behind me is where it was left by the suspect. And of course the child was not in it. And this area was just opened up. It was taped off because it was a crime scene. The car was processed and now the car is gone and they just opened up the scene. There, about 5 minutes ago, I just heard the air unit overhead. So now they're up searching the area also.
I want to step out of the way and show you what's happening right now. We're in the Cespedes Avenue area. We can see just how many investigators are here on the scene. This is near the Bay Meadows and Old Kings Road area. Investigators actually, a lot of them just left this area just moments ago.
But we first started airing this story during our first newscast of the day. It was at 4:30 a.m. We got the alert from JSO at 4 a.m. this morning as a reported auto theft with a possible child abduction. It happened, though, hours before we know, 2:22 a.m., when the boyfriend called police saying the vehicle had been stolen and the child was missing. Shortly after, less than 10 minutes later, JSO found that car less than a mile away. Then at 4:45, we were briefed by the public information officer who first told us this child was 2 years old, and at that time they said his name was Aaron Ebron. Then at 5:10, JSO tweeted a new picture. It was a better photo, still calling him Aaron. 5:18, 8 minutes later, that is when we got that tweet. Very important here, a different name, Lonzie Barton, same picture.
This is the picture police want everyone in our area to see. An active Amber Alert now going into its 15th hour for 21-month-old Lonzie Barton. The child has been missing since early this morning after what began as a reported carjacking.
I have to assume the worst, unfortunately. The worst case scenario for me is that somebody abducted this child.
Local, state, and federal investigators searching 3 scenes looking for any signs of the toddler and going door to door to get the word out to neighbors who say they want to help.
Today's been a day of methodical searches. We have gridded off the area where not only the apartment complex was, where the car was taken, but the 4 block from there where the vehicle was recovered. We have gridded that out, and we have 40 to 60 detectives working with our state FDLE partners and federal partners with the FBI, working through a methodical search of this area.
Search your backyards, look in your pools, look in your sheds, do everything you can to find this young man. He wants the picture to continue to be out there on the news, on social media, everything people can do to keep an eye out, because as he said, this boy's got to be somewhere. He had to have gone somewhere. They are still treating this as an abduction. They are still treating this as if the boy is alive.
The child was reported missing early this morning by this man, his mother's boyfriend, William Ebron. This is his mug shot from this past May when he was arrested on a drug charge in Baker County. There are 3 locations that police are checking out: the apartment complex where the family lives, a laundromat the boyfriend went to sometime yesterday, hours before he reported the child missing. We have crews all over town talking with police and some members of the child's family about the search for Lonzie Barton. Channel 4's Ashley Mitchum has been investigating all day, looking through court documents, and she's joining us live from the newsroom to tell us what she's discovered. Ashley.
A lot of information that I found here with this investigation. I went to Baker County to gather as much info as I could.
Here's information police have just told us. They have received 20 to 25 tips today. They are following up on all of them. Police will continue to search for Lonzie until nightfall, and a detective will be present overnight. It's been a day of methodical searches. Lonzie's mother and her boyfriend are cooperating. Police say they are downtown speaking with them right now, but police also say that has been like pulling teeth. We've also learned the boyfriend, 32-year-old William Ebron, has had run-ins with police. Some of those run-ins, police say, are troubling. We know he was arrested on drug charges in Baker County back in May, and a woman filed a restraining order against him, accusing him of stalking, harassment, and threats. We are going through that injunction right now. We'll have much more for you on that at 6 o'clock.
Earlier today, Chief Hackney told us that they were waiting to interview Lonzie's 5-year-old sister. She hadn't eaten or slept at all last night. What is the process now of interviewing this girl, possibly the last person to see this young boy?
Well, she would be interviewed by the child protection team, and they're experienced with talking with young children in different types of crimes. So they would not immediately just start talking about the crime or what happened. They will want to build a rapport with the child, make the child feel comfortable in a comfortable, soft environment, maybe using toys or different types of things like that to feel comfortable with the child, then slowly getting to the questioning as to what happened last night.
We had a chance to speak with the daytime manager here at Wacko's, who wouldn't go on camera, but he did say things have been pretty quiet here at the club since Lonzie went missing this morning. Now, he did confirm to us that Lonzie's mother, Lana, was working overnight here until her shift ended at 2:30. That is, of course, around the time when that little boy was first reported missing.
Just spoke with the chief of investigations for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. Tom Hackney says that he is still treating this as an abduction. They are not going to leave any stones unturned. And right now, they still believe that the boy is alive, but really, every minute that they don't find him, the risk of losing him is even worse. With a helicopter overhead, dozens of police officers looked for toddler Lonzie Barton. They searched backyards and sheds. They used bloodhounds to try to pick up his scent or any clues about where he may be.
We do understand that the mother and her boyfriend were here at police headquarters within the last hour being interviewed by detectives. Right now, authorities are really focusing in on the mother's boyfriend, since he was the last person to say that he saw that young child, and really they want to know know exactly what he was doing last night.
Right behind me is the command post. You can see there are dozens of police vehicles. We saw 6 canine units turn in just before we went on the air just now. So still lots of police activity. They will be here for as long as humanly possible. They say there's going to be as many as 60 officers searching again tomorrow if it does come to that.
We'll be following this story overnight and keeping track of the very latest developments. As soon as news breaks, we'll be updating news4jax.com.
And breaking this morning, William Ebron, the boyfriend of the child's mother, has been arrested on child neglect charges. We are covering the search this morning from all angles, and we are live at the scene. We've also learned some new information just in the past few moments. We've learned that Jacksonville Police will hold a news conference at 8:30 this morning. We will cover that news conference for you live.
Our investigation yesterday has led us to believe that that the caregiver, who is 32-year-old William Ebron, is lying to us and is I can't say the word on television. He is somewhat cooperative with us and was somewhat cooperative with us yesterday, going from the point of being remorseful to self-preservation, talking to us and then stopping, leading us a little ways and then taking that back. We learned yesterday through talking to him by his own admissions that if what is true, he went back into the apartment to do cocaine. That turns him into a part of a monster to do that, and if that led to it. We do believe right now, though, that the auto theft abduction that he reported, as he reported it, did not happen.
They're going to use the same amount of resources they had yesterday. They're going to have police canines. They're going to have cadaver dogs out here. They're going to use the air unit if necessary. They've got officers on the ground right now searching the area.
Ebron, the man believed to be the last person to see Lonzie Barton, is being held in the Duval County Jail on a $100,000 bond. He's the boyfriend of the child's mom. Ebron was arrested and charged with 2 counts of child neglect last night. This is video of him appearing before a Duval County judge today. That judge set a bond at $50,000 for each count.
But I want to go ahead and show you something that just popped up just a little while ago. A couple of ladies came by and made this makeshift memorial. You can see they placed a sign there. It says, "Pray for Lonzie," #find Lonzie. And you've probably seen that on social media. They've also got balloons as well as a little wreath and little stuffed animals they hope to give to Lonzie if he's found alive. It's the second day of searching for 21-month-old Lonzie Barton. Tonight, that search has expanded to include an area at Greenland and Phillips Highway near the Avenues Mall. We know the dive team was there searching a pond, leaving no stone unturned. Miles away, but also on the south side, officers held down the fort at the JSO Command Center on Old Kings Road South.
Here's a breakdown of what's happened today. At 8:30 a.m., police tell us they're not buying William Ebron's story about the auto theft and add that he wasn't telling them everything he knows. Police also revealed Ebron used cocaine the Friday morning. He says Lonzie went missing. Then at 10:45, police began searching the area around the Walmart near the Avenues Mall, close to Phillips Highway and Greenland Road. Around 2:30, Ebron had his first appearance in court for 2 counts of child neglect charges. Those are not related to Lonzie Barton.
With that belief in miracles, they pushed for answers in the case. As they held hands, many of these mothers, fathers, neighbors, and friends thought about their own children. Among them, Dina Thompson. Her own daughter, Summer, was kidnapped and murdered several years ago. She knows the importance of that support system.
Everybody coming behind you and standing up, that's the hands that hold us people up.
This is drone video shot by Built Drones, a company in Jacksonville that builds drones. And the owner says he wanted to come out and help aid in the search. This was near the Walmart on Phillips Highway near I-95 behind H.H. Gregg and Dollar Tree. And you can see several officers in this video parked at that area. They were searching several ponds, but like you said, so far nothing has been found.
2 different parts of the south side this morning. Officers from several agencies will continue searching for missing Lonzie Barton. The other, a makeshift memorial, as you can see on the left there, for the 21-month-old. Good morning, everyone. It is Monday. As it enters, in fact, the 4th day, Texas EcuSearch is joining police in the investigation later today to help find that 21-month-old.
It's the Southern Oaks mobile home park, which is right behind me. We're told that William Reuben Ebron, the main suspect in the disappearance of this 21-month-old, lived here for quite some time, so they believe he is very familiar with this area. Now, the search is expected to resume this morning.
Take a look behind me. You can see this makeshift memorial is growing. One sign has a hashtag, Find Lonzie, and that's really the sentiment around here. You can see the balloons and the toys here now.
We've been following this case from the very beginning. We've compiled a timeline of very key points in this investigation so far.
From the air, on the ground, and underwater, police are searching all over for toddler Lonzie Barton.
Close to 200 people are out there in the heat searching, and we will continue to do that until we have nowhere else to search, until I have no more questions without answers.
Gregory Marzoyev and WACO's management decided to start a fundraiser. They are going to match every donation customers or employees make to Lana and her family. They say it's just about helping an employee who needs it.
Divers have been in ponds similar to this one throughout the Southside area, and we wanted to see exactly what it was like for them down here when they're under these murky waters. So we got a GoPro and we decided to bring it out just to see exactly what it looks like. We were only able to put the camera a few inches under the surface of the water, but we still found a lot of algae and sludge. And for divers going much deeper, you can only imagine how hard it must be to see what's in front of them.
He's not the monster that they're painting him out to be.
William Ebron is retired military and says he was a strict father. He's praying for his son and praying that Lonzie is found safe. I asked him about his son, Reuben.
Have you talked to him since he's been arrested?
Yes, I was there yesterday.
And what's he telling you, or can you tell us what he's telling you?
I asked him point blank certain things. Did he cause harm to this young boy? And he says no. I said, did you unintentionally hurt him or something and panic? He said no.
It's this retention pond that they are really focusing on here, and you can see how much water there is. In fact, you remember Chief Hackney has said all through the weekend, and in fact as early as today, he said if there's a puddle, we're definitely in it.
It's become a familiar scene, officers searching on the south side. But even on day 5, crews are still on land and in water, determined to find 21-month-old Lonzie Barton. It's a search investigators say is systematic.
Officers with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office gathered at Kings Trail Elementary. It's been the new command post for search operations so law enforcement can work to find Lonzie Barton. Jacksonville Fire and Rescue ladder trucks were here. An ambulance was here, presumably to help anyone who may have heat-related issues. ATVs from Nassau County were here as well. We saw several law enforcement officers from Baker County.
An unexpected discovery in a murky Southside pond. This Mazda RX-7 rusted and waterlogged.
Anytime you have this amount of personnel searching a area, you're going to find things that you didn't know were there, so I'm not really surprised.
Since the first hours of this search, the one police official we have not seen or heard from is the new sheriff, Mike Williams, who was sworn in less than a month ago. We're told he's on vacation. Channel 4's Jim Pickett spoke to the undersheriff about this high-profile absence. He's joining us live.
We've had a number of calls into the newsroom and Facebook postings, people asking, where is our new sheriff? Well, he says this has been a vacation that has been planned for some time, even before the election. And he says he understands the concern, but says they are able to handle this.
This is the 6th day of the Amber Alert for the missing child. It has gone nationwide, but since police now say this is a homicide investigation, many of you may be asking why the alert is still needed.
For 6 days, this is the face we've seen on TV screens and on billboards and social media. It's why people are coming forward with information about Lonzie Barton. And it's why JSO Chief Tom Hackney wants to keep it in place, even though he says this is now a homicide investigation.
One positive thing, and I certainly don't want to abuse an Amber Alert system at all, it keeps this in the forefront.
And over the past 6 full days, hundreds of Jacksonville sheriff's officers have searched all across Jacksonville for any sign of this little boy. So far, they haven't found anything, but they are not giving up hope, and that is why they are calling in the nation's top law enforcement agency to help out.
Yesterday, we called in the FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit. These are the criminal profilers that you see on television. We're working with them, and they bring myriad resources to help us.
Police are using every resource available. and that includes a specialized team of FBI agents.
Police now say they've received more than 379 tips. Hackney says it's really important that businesses all over town, especially the north side and the south side, review their surveillance video recorded between last Thursday night at 7 and early Friday morning around 2:20 a.m. The reward from Crime Stoppers is now more than $11,000. We do know the suspect, Reuben Ebron, has been interviewed by the Florida Star weekly paper. We're working to find out what he said. Earlier today, officers from several agencies were on horseback looking through wooded areas on the north side.
Since last Friday, police have had the man who they say has the answers in jail. They say they don't believe the story Reuben Ebron has given them and that he is refusing to cooperate. They describe him as clever, a man who believes he can outsmart detectives. Channel 4's Vic Micolucci spoke with a forensic psychologist about how police might be able to get Ebron to tell them what they want to know.
Detectives record the interrogations, and Dr. Dorenzo says they often review that video to look for inconsistencies. So that way they can prove when a suspect has changed his story and then use it against him.
The first media outlet with access to Reuben Ebron, who's still sitting in the Duval County Jail, is the Florida Star, the historic Jacksonville-based black newspaper with offices on Dunn Avenue. I spoke with the owner and publisher, Clara McLaughlin, by phone.
Yes, he said he doesn't even want to think about it being a murder.
Any moment now, we expect new information from the sheriff's office.
For the past 11 days, police have been trying to find this 21-month-old, but so far they found no trace of him. Yesterday, they announced they are scaling back the ground search, but not the investigation.
The man who reported the little boy missing and who is charged with child neglect, Reuben Ebron, remains in jail. Let's go live now to the sheriff's office and for a brand new briefing by Chief Tom Hackney.
This is from a home surveillance system in that neighborhood. Part of the detectives I mentioned, we were going back through the neighborhood looking for video that we could find, and we found it, and here it is. These videos show the car passing by. A couple minutes later, him running back by. These are just still frames, and through the PIO's office here with the sheriff's office, we will release the actual video. So you can play the video and watch it yourself.
And this is after he claimed to have been in the house? I mean, what's the time frame?
This is just minutes, just a couple minutes before the 911 call is made. So this is after around 2:10 in the morning when these videos are taken in that neighborhood. So his story of this, that he was in the car, ran upstairs to take care of something, get cocaine as he's told that we've let out before, that's not true. Whatever we can do to recover Lonzie's body, we're about to do.
It has been more than 3 weeks now since Lonzie Barton vanished. The 21-month-old was last seen at a Southside apartment complex July 23rd.
For the first time, News4Jax hears from Lonzie's father, Chris Barton.
Chris Barton says he heard his son's voice on the phone 2 days before he disappeared, and he'll never forget the last time he laid his eyes on his youngest child.
Kissing him goodbye right before he left to go back with his mom. He hugged me real tight. Gave me a big old kiss on the cheek. Goes, mwah.
He was your baby boy.
Yes, he was. Still is.
The man police suspect of killing 2-year-old Lonzie Barton is not a monster, according to his mother. In fact, Reuben Ebron's mother, Wanda, says police can't be trusted themselves.
Murder is very important, and they keep saying they have so much. If they have so much, why are you playing around with menial charges, lying to the police? I could say the police are lying. What laws are there to have them to challenge their veracity? Nothing.
Her son, Reuben Ebron, faced a judge this morning on a new charge of lying to police.
In just a few moments, we're expecting to hear from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office as they've called a news conference on the Lonzie Barton investigation. Lonzie Barton's the 21-month-old boy was reported missing more than 3 weeks ago. A massive search was conducted on both the south side and on the north side at times in the week after he disappeared. Police are now working his case as a murder. JSO says the boyfriend of Lonzie's mother, Reuben Ebron, who initially called 911, is the only suspect in his death, but he's only been charged with child neglect and lying to police.
I think it's relative to the case announcing the arrest tonight of Lana Larimore, Lonzie Barton's mother. Tonight she's being charged with 2 counts, 1 count of child neglect, in another count of giving false information to law enforcement investigating a missing persons under the age of 16 years.
His mother, in this new video, as you can see here, appeared before a judge on basically what's called and referred to as her first appearance before a judge, being told basically, as required by law, what the charges are that she now faces. One charge of child neglect. The other, according to investigators, they say she lied to them about details related to the disappearance of her 21-month-old. Chief Hackney telling us last night that they believe that she has been lying to them since the very beginning of this investigation.
News 4 Jax investigator Lindsey Gardner spent the day combing through the disturbing and profanity-laced phone conversations and voicemails. She joins us live outside the jail where Ebron is being held without bond. Lindsey, what seems most noteworthy about these recordings that you listened to?
It is this surveillance video of Ruben Ebron that police say proves he's a liar. The night Lonzie went missing, Ebron reported he had been carjacked and left Lonzie inside. But JSO says this video shows him ditching his own car and running back home to call police.
You never fess up to anything in your life.
Are you? Oh man, I'm not gonna do that no more.
I'm not trying to talk about it on phone, but
yeah, you keep doing that.
I'm just trying to say that you need to start taking responsibility.
News 4 Jax obtained these jailhouse phone calls. Prosecutors say Ebron was calling his ex-girlfriend despite a no-contact order between the two.
Tonight, for the first time, we're hearing from the mother of Lonzie Barton, recorded with a hidden microphone. What she says about her silence following the disappearance of her son.
Everyone's mad because I ain't got to say.
And what she claims about herself when she was told her child was missing. News 4 Jax has obtained newly released video from investigators of an undercover drug sting that led to the arrest of Lana and Chris Barton on drug dealing charges back in September.
Lana Barton and her boyfriend, Ruben Ebron, are awaiting trial in the disappearance of Lonzie Barton, who Jacksonville police believe is dead. Channel 4's Scott Johnson has been going through the video released by the state attorney in Gainesville in the drug case.
The video talks about drug dealing, but we hear from her about her thoughts on the night Lonzie disappeared, what she says she was not doing with drugs, as well as some problems she has with the Department of Children and Families.
Presence Investigator Matt Yarbrough, Investigator Clem Leo have $100, 520s.
The video was recorded by a confidential informant, both inside a Baker County motel with Lana and Chris Barton, as well as a third suspect, Sean Hall. There's also a recording inside a truck, the recording that relates most to the case of missing and presumed dead toddler, Lonzie Barton, happened inside that truck. In one clip, Lana Barton claims she had no drugs in her system when Lonzie disappeared.
You want to sit here and put me down for making a bad decision on who I left my child with. You know what I mean? Honestly, because I peed clean, okay? In the homicide department, when all was going on, I wasn't even up on drugs.
Lana also complains about how judged she's been and says she has remained publicly silent despite criticisms from the public.
Everyone's mad because I ain't got to say, but until I'm proved innocent, I'm gonna say big public you. And that's plain and simple. I can tell you this right now, it's just like I told her. People that know me know better. You on it, they know better.
We are also following a local breaking news alert in the Lonzie Barton investigation. Late this afternoon, prosecutors released more evidence, including photos, 911 calls, and video that are part of the case the state is building against Ruben Ebron, the prime suspect in the toddler's disappearance. In addition to the evidence on Ebron, prosecutors in Gainesville today released more video that led up to the drug dealing arrest of the child's parents, Chris and Lana Barton.
Some of that video takes us inside the interrogations conducted by detectives with Lana Barton. Now, in this particular police interview, the detective repeatedly asked Barton about leaving Lonzie and his sister in the car unattended.
What do you think happened?
What do I think happened?
Right.
I think that he wasn't watching him well and something happened to him. And I think maybe he got a hold of something, out of his drawer or off the dresser or out of the floor somewhere, or something, and maybe, accidentally overdosed or something like that, and he freaked out and he come up with something quick to, make it look like something else.
New information now in the Lonzie Barton investigation as the state attorney's office released new video and audio today of Reuben Ebron from the hours after the little boy disappeared more than 4 months ago.
The video is recorded in the interrogation room as detectives question Ebron.
At the beginning of the interview, Ebron is very calm. He's recounting the hours leading up to Lonzie's disappearance, but once the questioning from investigators turns to drugs or holes in his story, Ebron appears to get very frustrated.
Officers come back in and let Ebron know that his story isn't adding up, especially his claim that he ran upstairs into the apartment and quickly came back down.
They're not matching up. Your phone's not matching up, dude. I'm just telling you. You get. There's a lot more I'm not telling you.
When I went back to the house, probably changed, but I wasn't honestly paying attention to the little details. Just like when you said,
it's not a little detail, man. It's not a little detail. That's a huge detail.
Ebron eventually tells the detective that he feels his story is being twisted around and he would, quote, rather have a lawyer.